Hi everybody, this is Ramon again, and I had a very heated argument today, well online, but it was nevertheless, I got really pissed off because I can't stand having to still make the argument that Obamacare is a fucking failure. It just is. I don't care if you liked Obama. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a progressive. I don't care if you believe that healthcare is a human right. I don't care if you believe that it's a shame, as who was it today that said that? Um, I think it was Louis Gonzalez or whatever his name is from or Luis Rodriguez. I forgot what his name is. Um, from Illinois, the congressman from Illinois. He said that it's a shame, it's a disgrace that in America we don't have everybody covered with health care. It doesn't matter because that's irrelevant to the point. I don't give a fuck if you believe in universal health care. That's a different argument. If you want to make an argument for universal health care, go ahead. What I have a problem with are these fucking assholes, and I'm going to call them that. They can, for all I care, they can go suck a dick. They can go suck Obama's huge dick. He's over there. He's free now. He's over in Washington, D.C. You can line up outside his house and ask, Mr. President, can you open up your pants and, let me have it? Because that's all that they're good for. These are progressive idiots that they can't realize that it's over. And if they want to make the argument for their universal health care, they have to dump Obamacare. They have to start saying, Obama, they have to admit, that's the problem, that they've never admitted in all of their time observing this problem, which has been a problem before Obama and has been a problem that's been aggravated by Obama. They've never admitted that Obamacare was a huge fucking failure. And I'll read through some of the points of the presentation. I've already made videos on this numerous times, and I'm using this as a prop because our opposition to Obamacare, my opposition and the opposition of other people, much more influential than me and much more influential than you, the audience, the opposition of people like Grover Norquist and people like Ron Paul, people like, Remy, if you've seen his videos, Mark Levin, anybody you see on the libertarian and conservative spectrum, our opposition to Obamacare has to carry over now. It can't stop. President Trump has to bear some of the responsibility for letting this charade go on. We are against price fixing. We're against government meddling in the healthcare market. And we've seen what it's done to our families, and we've known what it's done to our pockets. And we've seen the way that it's affected the quality of care. And we've seen the way that it's affected the desire of our young people to go into the medical field, whether it's for nursing or for medical school. Do you know how long it takes to become a licensed physician? It used to be, they said it would take 8 years, but it actually takes much longer than that. Maybe it's just because people that don't look into it, but we can't keep letting it happen like this. We can't keep, going for ties instead of wins. And 2016 was a tie, and I'll explain why. President Trump, a lot of us voted for him, not because we thought he had the best ideas. We voted for him because we fucking hate Hillary Clinton. I probably would have voted for him against Bernie Sanders too. I might not have voted at all. My motivation, first and foremost, was fucking Hillary Clinton and seeing her take her sourpuss face with a stupid pantsuit and not show up to give the winning address. And that halfway came true because she did weasel out of giving the concession speech. But that's not the victory that we're looking for. That's a hollow victory. That's a victory based on personal angst towards somebody. What's really the victory is getting rid of these policies that have been dragging our economy down for years, and the main policy is Obamacare. So let me reiterate that the main reason that Obamacare failed is because it's failed on all of its promises. And these are the ones that President Obama made verbally, if not in the actual bill. He made it verbally on numerous occasions, and they've all turned out to be false. Number one, if you like your plan, you can keep it. That's false. There's been numerous documented cases where patients have lost their plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Also false, same reason. All discrimination against pre-existing conditions will be prohibited. That's actually not true. There are conditions where you can be denied a plan under Obamacare. You'll have the same kind of choice of private health insurers that members of Congress get for themselves. That's also not true. And let's go through some of the things that Obamacare explicitly promised. They said healthcare coverage at subsidized rates would extend coverage to millions of uninsured Americans. Clients will no longer be denied based on pre-existing conditions. Insurance will no longer be cut off due to spending caps. All insurance plans will cover 10 essential benefits to include mental health, lab work, and hospitalization with preventive care free to all insured subscribers. Millions of Americans will now be covered until age 26 by their parents' plan. The ACA will lower the budget deficit. Well, if you're talking about lowering the budget deficits, that's for sure not come true. Now, here's one of the things that, first of all, his vow that you could keep your plan and you could keep your doctor was called the lie of the year for 2013. By PolitiFact, okay? PolitiFact, you can go fuck yourselves if you would disagree with me, because it's a fact. Look at every single PolitiFact article. PolitiFact is a liberal incubator. They're basically these journalists that come around and they just validate whatever crap that the Democrats are pushing. Here's another one. Insurance companies will be prohibited from watering down your coverage. If you don't have health insurance, you'll finally be able to afford it. That's what he said in August 2009. So this law means more choice, more competition, and lower costs for millions of Americans. It's a lie! You fucking assholes! There is no more. There's less competition now because under Obamacare, if you didn't read the news, the insurers have pulled out. So the plans that were offered are getting increasingly scarce. You're getting a narrower market, so there's no competition. There's actually a lot of areas of the United States where there's only one Obamacare plan offered. So don't give me any fucking tall tales about more coverage and more options and lower costs and more choice. There is no more choice. It's been a fucking work from the beginning. It was a deception. It was a deception by Obama, and it was a deception by the insurance companies. What else do I have here? I'm not going to go through the whole process. This isn't a rehashing of my ACA video. It's a summary of why it's a failure. That's it. Okay. You can go back and watch the video, but here it said, what does the ACA do? It creates a market for subsidized comprehensive health insurance that cannot be denied for pre-existing conditions. Premium increases must be approved by the state in which the plan is offered. More on that in a second. Plans must be approved by the massive battery of ACA associated regulations. And by some counts, it was something like 12,000 pages, okay? 12,000 pages. And you're trying to say that that made health insurance easier to afford with all those fucking rules? Get real. ACA plans were to be traded either on the National Health Exchange or on 23 exchanges serving 24 states. There were so many exchanges that fell apart. So many exchanges. Illinois, Oregon. There was, what's another one? I think Iowa fell apart. There was Minnesota, I believe, fell apart. There were a lot of, I think only a half dozen states out of those 23 actually had exchanges that survived more than a year. So you can still go on healthcare.gov and try to find a plan. I will let you see how that fits in for you. If you think Obamacare would work for you, and go ahead, buy it. You know, I'm not going to tell you not to buy something, even if it's a fucking shitty, you know, excuse for a real policy. Obamacare is not a real healthcare policy. It's basically a market control that was instituted by a president that wanted to make waves, and he wanted to make it seem like he was revolutionizing the entire country. And in reality, what he ended up doing was he screwed himself royally. It was probably the biggest reason. Obamacare is the biggest reason that the Democratic Party is a complete and utter clusterfuck now. And the worst thing that the Republicans are doing is emulating them by embracing the same type of policy. I don't care that the new bill is a little different. I want it to be nothing like Obamacare. I want it to be basically saying, you know, Obamacare is fucking over. And, you know, you can just buy health insurance on the open market with no state restrictions. You can just buy, if you're in Arizona, you can buy a plan that's from Mississippi. If you're from Mississippi, you can buy a plan from Rhode Island. If you're from Rhode Island, you can buy a plan that's from Minnesota. It should be that way. It should be no fucking limits. Just do whatever the fuck you want. Sell the plan. You know, let's try to drive healthcare costs down. Stop the subsidies. Stop the subsidies of the pharmaceutical companies. How about that? Anyway, there were a number of state increases. Remember, I said that states had the ability to approve or reject rate hikes every year. Well, what did they end up having to do? Because there were so many plans that were pulling out, the health insurance companies that remained within Obamacare, all they did was say, look, I mean, if you want us to stay in here, we're going to have to, like, you know, jack the rates the fuck up. And that's what they did. If you want, you can go and look it up. In Oklahoma, rates increased by as much as 96%. Now, that doesn't mean for all plans. I've never said it was for all plans. But 96% for at least for you know, for anybody. Think about that. Having your health care double virtually within 1 year. That was in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is by no means a rich state. You know, there's plenty of poor people in Oklahoma. And a middle class person in Oklahoma for sure doesn't want to have their health care premiums increased by 96%. Arizona was by 116%. And President Trump, even though he's dead wrong on the issue of the new health care reform, he was absolutely right by saying this, that Obamacare was a disaster, and that it's not really affordable, and that this is just a lie. It's just complete falsehoods. You can't go and tell people that are already making sometimes barely able to make their ends meet, and start just doubling their premiums and say, oh well, because some people could get coverage now, that means that we've expanded coverage for so many Americans. There's also many Americans that had to leave Obamacare because they couldn't afford it either. You know, if people were paying, let's say, $250 for a health insurance policy the previous year and could barely make that work, and that was for a single person, then why would, let's say they didn't get a new job, why would it become easier the next year when it was for $330 or $400 or something, whatever the premium increase was? It doesn't make any sense. And everybody's saying, you know, it would have increased a lot more if there was no Obamacare. That's not the point. The point of the bill was to reduce health insurance costs, was to reduce premiums, by the way. So all of your platitudes about what would have happened if it had not been passed, it doesn't matter, because the insurance, the legislation, if it does not accomplish what it sets out to accomplish, then it's a complete failure, okay? And it didn't accomplish anything that it set out to accomplish. And I'm going on record now, okay? And I suggest, you know, there's not many people watching this show, but you should write to the most trusted media person you know, especially if they're independent media, like the people that I listen to, you know, like Anthony Logan, and say, look, it's time for us to declare ahead of time We're not supporting Ryan care. We're not supporting Trump care. It doesn't matter. I don't have to support Trump care because I voted for Donald Trump. I don't have to support anything he does. I just have, in fact, I've already told you, the reason that I voted for Donald Trump was purely out of hatred for Hillary Clinton. Everything else that he does that's good is bonus. If he does things that are bad, I'm still happy, mostly because I still hate Hillary Clinton. You know, all these other things he did, like appointing Rex Tillerson or whatever, I'm against those things. His Dakota Access Pipeline policy, even though the pipeline protesters themselves kind of shot themselves in the foot repeatedly, I'm still against drilling there. I'm still against, or not drilling there, but laying pipeline there. But it does not mean, my point is that you have the right to object. It doesn't matter what it is. These policies are for the administration of your country, not the administration of Donald Trump's country. And he came into office to serve the people that voted for him and the people that didn't vote for him. So, you know, first of all, he does have to embrace the policies that he campaigned on. Excuse me. Need some of that mood medicine there. That mood medicine from Bacardi. Anyway, look, we have to stand on our principles and say no. We're not going to support Trump care. We're not going to support Ryan care. All we support is a free market solution to health care. They say we can't do it. Look at how many countries where they did single payer and it was a fucking failure. Okay, look at Venezuela. Look at these countries like Greece. The more generous your welfare state, the more it becomes just a carcass for needy people to feed on. And I'm not saying needy people because I lack compassion. That goes without saying. You know, I'm the biggest asshole around. But you know, I think we should take care of the poor people. We should take care of them with health care, but it shouldn't be health care that is deluxe and out of this world, like they wanted to do, where they would pay for your sex change, or they would pay for your fucking abortion or whatever. You get to pay for stuff that's going to save your life. That's it. Anyway, I'm going to cut this video short for tonight. I still have to go to work tomorrow, and I was planning to do another video tonight, and it's a video I've been putting off for a while, but that might have to wait. Anyway, just because I was so fucking pissed. I'm still pissed, and I'm not going to stop being angry, both at the Obamacare defenders and these Ryan care frauds, these Ryan and Trump frauds. I don't, you know, if you voted for Donald Trump, you should be mad right now. Just saying. You know, we don't have to go and just, oh, Trump is, you know, he's reestablishing our relations with Russia, and he's moving the embassy to Jerusalem, and he's fighting ISIS. That doesn't mean we have to support everything he does. I mean, you can support him and you can still like him, but you don't have to support everything he does. And if he really behaves like an asshole, you don't have to like him anymore. It's not like once you vote for somebody, they own you. Anyway, have a great night. This is Ramon with Bold Like a Leopard, and we'll see you around the bend.